Now, in terms of ticking up today, we saw it on Wall Street, a nice rally with the Dow finishing the day up 195 points. This tax reform talk did seem to be part of that puzzle. So let's bring Ken Mahoney in. Ken is president of Mahoney Asset Management and author of a GPS for your retirement. And Shelby Holliday is also here. Shelby's a senior video reporter at the Wall Street Journal. Good to see you both. And
good to be here.
You think this number Blake's talking about, do you think it matters that they get something done or that they get to like a certain number from what you're hearing, say on that corporate rate, 15%?
Well, if you talk to people in the business community, they don't actually believe it would be as low as 15%. Nobody has thought that's been possible or likely for some time.
Right.
So they do expect the corporate tax rate to be cut. They don't know how far it will go, but just the fact that it's coming down in the first place is something that gives businesses and obviously markets a lot of hope.
Yeah, it seemed like people liked it today. I mean, I thought, Ken, yesterday we started and we talked a lot on the show about how can the president get anything done given last week and all this back and forth between members of his own party. And I thought we saw members of his own party praising him for the Afghanistan speech last night, which to me tells me that they'll be willing to work with him maybe on something else like tax reform.
I think so. Look, obviously they got a big loss with health care. They need to come back with something. And, you're saying yesterday to us, we're looking at the markets and so forth. Everybody looks at these charts, and the S&P 500 touched the 100-day moving average since January, that trend line. From there, it made a little bounce. And then on top of that, some of these bears were offside, shorting the market, and then you get this news item about tax reform. So you put it together, we had a nice turnaround Tuesday.
Do we make too much, by the way? I think some people have told us this. Well, you're laughing already at the tax reform and the political stuff. Is it other things driving the market?
Yeah, I think the fundamental story, at the end of the day, look at corporate earnings. I mean, this past quarter, we heard from Boeing, Caterpillar, some really good Dow components that did really well, and actually they guided forward very well, too. So at the end of the day, I know the president takes a lot of credit from 18,000 Dow to 22,000 Dow, but at the end of the day, we have really strong
earnings. Well, that's good news, too, in some ways, Shelby, if you look at it that way, because that means that the market wouldn't necessarily, go to hell in a handbasket if tax reform doesn't get done, that there's other things that drive this.
Right, and some of it's not so much what's getting done, but what's not getting done. For example, we have not entered a trade war with China. NAFTA negotiations seem to be going somewhat stable and encouraging to business leaders.
The regulations, too, that's something that the president does take credit for.
I do think the political piece of the puzzle is what's so interesting here, because if President Trump, he's going to Arizona tonight. There's talk about him primarying Jeff Flake, Senator Jeff Flake. If he continues to wage war against these Republicans in Congress, who he needs to help pass his agenda, then it could go to hell in a handbasket, this whole tax reform thing.
If he does support the opponent of Jeff Flake and provide an endorsement.
Right, if he angers Republicans in Congress. But I would also say that he is trending towards a more typical presidential style.
A normalization.
Speech on Afghanistan,
one day from next,
General
right?
John Kelly in there.
I'm sorry, one day he is presidential, one day he's not, but it's kind of, these bears jump all over this all the time, right? So, we've had this kind of V-shaped recovery, time and time again, like buy the dip. For some reason, every time some news item swirls around Trump, that is it. The bears jump on. They're off sides once again. And this Teflon presidency or Teflon market, again, overshines everything else.
It wants to go up for whatever.
Yeah, it wants to go up. It's really sticky to the upside for the door.
It is, until it's not, as we all know from experience. Thanks to both of you.